Believe it or not, there are people in the media who want Tim Cook to step down as Apple's CEO due to various reasons, which I'm going to discuss soon. The big question is, do you do business with affinity or do you do business with logic? You see, your answer towards this question is going to help you evaluate the reasons why some part of the media wants Tim Cook to resign or not. Before we start this video, I wanted to please like, share and subscribe, as well as turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any update from us as we discuss about iPhones, Android and gadget tips. Alright, so let's get started. I just want to say that my videos have a timestamp just in case. So how did Tim Cook become the CEO of Apple? You see, when Apple was on the verge of bankruptcy in the late 90s, Tim Cook joined Apple in 1998, which is a year after Steve Jobs rejoined the company in 1997. At this point, Steve Jobs was heavily focused on the blueprint of Apple for the next decade, such as the iMac, the iPod, and the iPhone. This is where Tim Cook comes in, because Tim Cook was not happy about the supply chain and operations of Apple's product. In fact, Tim Cook moved the manufacturing of Apple's product away from its own factories to outside contractors. In fact, he famously said, I quote, "Inventory is fundamentally evil," and compared Apple to a dairy. So, what was Tim Cook's strategy? Well, he reduced the time Apple's inventory stayed and turned from months, to days, thanks to its sought after product and efficient supply chain. In essence, this strategy helped Apple set prices high while keeping costs low. You see, the rise of Tim Cook's influence in Apple made him become the senior vice president of worldwide operations sales in the year 2000, and 2 years later he was the executive vice president of worldwide operations and sales. You see, one of the most underrated skills in Tim Cook is his leadership quality. You see, most people are focused on his brilliant marketing skills, that they neglect his leadership skills. In fact, as of 2004, Steve Jobs took a leave of absence for surgery to treat pancreatic cancer. Tim Cook was chosen to become the interim CEO and chief of the Macintosh division. And even after Jobs returned to Apple, Tim Cook became the chief operating officer in 2005. And as of January 2009, Steve Jobs took a leave of absence through the end of June in order to recover his health, and he announced that Tim Cook would be the interim CEO. 2 months before Steve Jobs' death in October 2011, Steve Jobs resigned as CEO and was succeeded by Tim Cook. Now, within months, Apple stocks nearly doubled, and fast forward today, as at the end of this video, or as at when I'm making this video, Apple has a company valuation of $3.3 trillion. So yeah, why does people want Tim Cook to resign? Number one, legacy comparison to Steve Jobs. You see, while I was explaining Tim Cook's influence in Apple, there was a loophole. And what was that? Tim Cook is a great businessman. This means Tim Cook is not an innovator. This means that he is more profit oriented than maximizing product or customer satisfaction. The truth is, the aim of every brand or business is to make profit. But if the customers are in need of something innovative or more satisfying, isn't that a company on heat or a business on heat? You see, Steve Jobs was a visionary leader and obviously had the blueprint of Apple all mapped out and given to Tim Cook. And if that's the case, is this a good reason why he should resign, since he might be rinsing and reusing ideas? Well, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Then secondly, lack of tools for designers. You need to understand that Apple has always had a philosophy of taking existing market products and making it 10 times better. This happened with the iPod and the iPhone. In essence, Apple's foundation or core has always been creating products you couldn't find anywhere else. In 2007, when Steve Jobs announced the iPhone, a lot of people were so focused in the revolutionary product that they failed to realize that Steve Jobs also announced the name of the company from Apple Computer Inc. to Apple Inc. This meant that there was a shift in mindset for the company. You see, dropping the computer meant that there was a change in Apple's mission, which was making premium tools they charged premium money on, and also making great gadgets they also charged premium money for. In the end, Tim Cook's team heavily focused on their price that they are forgetting their pride. Of course, sales is exploding since Steve Jobs died, but until now, things are a little bit slow. Then thirdly, the rise of artificial intelligence. You see, most people believe the CEO of a tech company ought to be great at writing codes. Is that true? Well, with the rise of AI, it almost seems as if history is repeating itself. How? Well, you see, back in the 1980s, Apple hired John Sculley to become the new CEO of Apple. The problem with this move was that John Sculley didn't have any tech experience, but he helped transform Pepsi from a low-end Coke ripoff to become something much better thanks to his innovative Pepsi generation ads. The truth is, Steve Jobs believes since John Sculley could help Pepsi compete fiercely with Coca-Cola, he believed he could help Apple do the same to their fierce rival, IBM, who just launched the personal computer in 1981. The idea was simple. Steve Jobs focuses on the tech department and John Sculley focuses on the marketing department. Did it pay off? Yes, it did at first, but Steve Jobs leaving the company in 1985 created problems. Overall, Apple revenue improved from $569 million to $8.3 billion before John Sculley left in 1993. Please take that down. But during the late 90s, Apple almost filed for bankruptcy because of their fierce competition with Microsoft and a lack of an innovator. You see, after John Sculley left, there was a loophole at Apple. There was no innovator and there was no marketing expertise. But luckily, Steve Jobs got back in 1997 during the dot-com bubble. So the big question is history repeating itself now with the rise of artificial intelligence? Well, Apple intelligence might be behind compared to their rivals, but the playing field for artificial intelligence is still, wide open. But for how long? Well, since we know the reasons why certain people from the media want Tim Cook to resign, the big question now is, who can replace Tim Cook? Like I mentioned earlier, Apple needs someone who is an innovator and someone who has the company's interest at heart as well as the customer's interest too. You see, despite the stress Tim Cook is facing right now, especially due to the low sales of the 16 series Apple actually grew by 4% in profit in sales in 2024, and compared to other brands like Huawei, they grew by 11%. I doubt Tim Cook is going to resign, although this might age badly in the future. But for now, Tim Cook has a succession plan, and it is very likely John Tennant will most likely replace Tim Cook once he leaves. You see, John Tennant is currently in charge of hardware engineering of iPhones, iPads, Mac, and AirPods, and he has been at the company for 2 decades at the moment. So what do you think about Tim Cook resigning as the Apple's CEO? Well, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment please, because I notice I don't get comments often, and subscribe so you won't miss an update and content from us. My name is Eferia Ifeanyichukwu Ifemena. So see you next week, Monday, and so long.